Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're turning a spec sheet into something you can actually use, and we're looking at a pretty fundamental piece of hardware. The Aurora Multimedia DXE-142A-DS. It's a 1x4 HDMI 4K splitter.
And our mission here is to really get under the hood. This isn't just about what it does, but why its specific features matter for you, the person actually installing and using it.
Okay, so let's start with the top line specs. It's a 1-inch 4-out splitter. Simple enough, but it's running up to 4K 2K at a full 60 Hz.
And that's table stakes now, really.
Yeah.
The key figure here, the one you should care about, is the bandwidth.
The 18 gigabits per second.
Exactly. That's not just a big number. It means you're getting uncompressed 4.4.4 chroma. So, for things like medical imaging or high-end digital signage, that color accuracy is crucial.
You're not getting that compressed signal you see on cheaper units.
Not at all. And of course, you've got the compliance you'd expect, HDMI 2.0A and the big one, HDCP 1.4 and 2.2 for all that copy-protected content.
Right, which is non-negotiable. But specs are one thing, installation is another. This thing seems, well, it seems designed to be invisible.
It is. I mean, it's tiny. They call it ultra-low profile for a reason.
Yeah.
But the really clever bit, the thing that shows an integrator designed it.
Is the port placement?
Yes. All the connectors, HDMI and power, are on the same side. We've all been there trying to wrestle stiff cables behind a flush-mounted screen.
Yeah.
It solves that headache.
A small detail that makes a huge difference.
Okay, moving on from the core performance, the real engineering leap here seems to be in signal management. Specifically, this auto EDID feature. So let's unpack that.
Yeah.
What exactly is EDID and why is making it customizable such a big deal?
Well, EDID is basically the digital handshake between your source and your display. It's a negotiation.
A negotiation about what the display can handle.
Precisely. But what happens when you have one source talking to 4 different displays with 4 different capabilities? Well, you get chaos. Black screens, flickering.
So this box steps in to mediate. It becomes a very strict mediator. The spec sheet says it gives you full control over the source. So if you have a 4K source but you're feeding a mix of displays, you can force that source to just send out 1080p.
And guarantee a stable picture everywhere.
You guarantee reliability across the whole system. For a conference room or a university lecture hall, that is absolutely vital.
That makes perfect sense. So it's about creating stability, and I assume the audio support is just as robust.
Oh yeah, you've got all the high-def formats you'd expect. Dolby True HD, DTS HD Master Audio.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Now, if we look at who this is for, big commercial or government jobs, we have to talk about logistics.
Absolutely, and this is a big one. The unit is TAA compliant.
So it meets the Trade Agreement Act rules on where it's made.
Right, and for any government contract, that's often a mandatory requirement. The fact that it's TAA compliant and tariff-free makes it a much easier purchase for those big institutional buyers.
It just removes a layer of red tape. And looking ahead, I see a mini USB port here. That's for firmware, right?
It is, yeah. For firmware updates and for setting up that custom EDID, it means the device isn't static. It can adapt to future standards, which is key.
Okay, but we should be realistic. There are still physical limits to this technology.
Of course. You have to respect the laws of physics. At 18 gigabits per second, you're looking at a max distance of about 7.5 meters, maybe 25 feet, for a 4K signal over copper.
And if your run is longer, that's not the splitter's fault?
Not at all. That's just a sign you need to budget for active cables or fiber extenders. It's about using the right tool for the job.
So when you boil it all down, this isn't really just a device that duplicates a signal. It's about actively managing that signal, ensuring compliance, and building a stable, future-ready system.
That's the perfect summary. And it leads to a final thought for you to chew on. Given that mini USB port is there for ongoing firmware and EDID updates, what other complex AV problems could you solve down the line just by modifying how this little box controls the source? That ability to evolve is what really defines a piece of professional infrastructure.